Hey guys, Matt, IronTrap Garage, and today we have a little treat for you. So the 34 Ford, the Channel 34 Ford Coupe that we found a bunch of parts in the Schroll estate for, through all the promotion of the auction, one of the owners, previous owners of the vehicle has popped up. The car was actually a local car, and we recently have learned a little bit more history about the car, and now with the auction coming up, we're able to meet with two of the guys who used to run around with this car, raise hell, and they're going to tell us some of the stuff about the car that they remember in person. We found this information out because Jody, one of the executors of the estate, was handing out flyers for the auction at like a local cruise-in, at like an ice cream parlor or something like that, and one of the guys there saw the listing with 34 Ford and said, I used to work on that car, and got the information. She got the information, gave me the phone number, and fast forward to today, the auction day, after a phone call I did with one of the guys, they are going to be at the sale, and we're going to interview them, and they have a bunch of old photos, which is going to be really exciting. So we're going to share a little bit of the history about the car and show you a closer view of it. Hope you guys enjoy.
You're ready.
All right, so tell me some of the history. You used to run around with this car back in the younger years. Your buddy bought it. What was the history on your connection?
Yeah, a friend of mine lived up the block, Bobby England.
Okay.
He originally bought the car. The car had an Oldsmobile in when he bought it.
Okay.
Catalyst South, standard Ford gear. And he brought it down. My dad and me ran a weld shop and a car repair.
Okay. And what town was?
That was in Hanover.
Oh, Hanover. Okay.
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And Bob, he wanted to put in now we're talking 63.
Okay.
He wanted to put in a 289 Hyper. I said,
Okay.
well, where are you going to find one of them?
Yeah.
Well, he found one in South Carolina with 500 miles in it.
Wow.
In a wrecked Fairlane. And he brought it up, and we put in a 289 high performance, 4-speed, the whole deal.
And the olds went in the trash can.
The olds went in the trash can. I was racing cars, and I had some 9-inch Fords 57s in the back of the garage, and so it's got a 9-inch small bearing Ford in it.
Okay. And that's still the same.
There.
Okay. Now, was the car already channeled and stuff? Okay.
The car was channeled. It pretty much was in primer its whole life when we had it.
Okay.
And there's a lot of things changed now, but of course back then you had to have fenders and all that crap.
Okay.
And you had to have bumpers. The pipe bumpers on the back we made.
Okay.
That's still there.
Right.
There was one just like it up front.
Okay.
Oh God.
We can walk around. We can take a look if there's anything that catches. So the steering box stuff, you guys did not do that.
No, it had the original 34 steering in. It was down here and came straight out. It was nothing like that.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, these look like the same motor mounts we have.
Yeah, since they put a Ford back in. So I already know a little bit because you told me, but you said that you guys pulled the engine when he sold it?
Bob pulled the 289 Hyper because he was into Shelby's and stuff.
Oh.
And he needed the motor to make a Shelby original.
Right. And so how long did you guys run around with after you got it on the road?
Well, probably 10 years or so.
Really?
Yeah.
I saw the photos you sent me. There's a bunch of trophies, won some shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, back in the day, you took what you used and you ran it to death, and you also put it to shows in the winter.
Yep.
And yeah, we did, even with the primer paint.
Yeah, and you street raced guys on the street?
Yeah, back in the day, it would hold its own against GTOs and that crap.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, I guess with that hypo engine, it moved, and this little thing, it moved pretty good.
It did good.
So do you remember like the hood being like this and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's pretty much the same.
And you,
obviously, that's
you remember the green, the roof insert?
Yeah,
okay.
because it would burn you up. It burned you up in there.
And the bucket seats and all that stuff was in there? You
don't
don't
remember them?
Oh, it had maybe a bench seat?
I think we had a bench seat as I remember it.
Oh, okay.
There again, I'm old.
Who knows?
Maybe
Yeah.
I lost them of it.
Now, you said you guys did the antenna and stuff on the back for, you know.
That's a piece of exhaust tube.
Is that all that is? I mean, it works.
And it worked. Battery was obviously there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a piece of exhaust tube that we just sank down in there.
Okay.
We did to a couple guys' cars.
Yeah, I wondered if that was done originally or if you guys had done that.
Nope, we done that.
Did it already have the Pontiac taillights and stuff on it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I believe it did.
So you guys just kind of added the fenders and did some of that stuff. Made it go fast.
Obviously, we chopped them
Yep.
to match the body. And it had motorcycle fenders up front, which weren't legal back then. So we put, if you see the pictures, we put shrouds that came from back here up to the fenders, and you can see some of the weld marks.
Yeah.
Where the brackets.
Just to get around the rules.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, heck yeah. So did it have, you guys put the Hurst shifter and all that stuff in there? Do you remember any of that?
No, it didn't have a Hurst shifter. It had the stock Ford that came with that 63.
Oh, did it? Oh, okay.
That whole thing was complete.
Okay, so somebody added all that.
Yeah.
And the gauges and the wood paneling, do you remember any of that, or is
I
that?
don't remember the wood. I think we had the steel in. We had gauges, obviously.
Oh,
in there,
okay,
but,
so somebody cut it in.
Yeah.
Whoever added the wood probably did the wood in the trunk too.
Yeah. Now, did you, when about did you guys stop messing with her? Did he sell it? Do you remember that roughly?
I'm going to say Bobby probably had her about 10 years, and I may be wrong here.
So maybe like the
Yeah.
70s when he got rid of it.
I'm thinking
Okay.
because
and where did he send? Do you know where it got sent off
I have
to?
not a clue.
know
I never seen it again, and he said, I thought he said it went to Western Pennsylvania. But
Oh, okay.
your
who
guess
knows?
is good as mine.
Now you told me we were just talking that you heard the folklore that this car was back in the area, and somebody
Yeah.
had seen it at Larry's, or what was the?
They used to say when he was mowing, he had the back door open, and you could see it through the door.
Oh.
And I had found out about it, so I knew it was there for years.
Okay.
And I often wondered.
Did you drive back to see if you could see it?
I've made a few trips around there,
Hey, we
kind
all
of
know.
looking to see if it
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So you think it's in better shape or worse shape than you would have thought after all these?
I think it's a lot worse.
Is it worse?
I do. Yeah, it was really, really solid back in the day.
Really?
Yeah. I
Wow.
mean, metal-wise and all, but we're 50 years or whatever.
Yeah. Everything wears.
Oh, yeah.
You guys probably looked a little more spry and young
You
back
see
then.
it on the picture, we were
Yeah.
skinny little kids, you know?
So
yeah.
it can't. Yeah. So it's interesting. There's a lot of interest in it. I'm excited. Do you remember the gold? You could see there's gold under that.
No.
No, you don't remember.
As far as I remember, we painted primer white for the most part. I think it stayed that way most of
Yeah,
the time.
because you see that there's gold and I think there's purple,
Yeah.
and it's somewhere like.
Yeah, I don't
And the
remember.
garnish molding's purple on it, so it's. I wonder how many times since you guys, or maybe that was all stuff that was under what you guys have. I don't know. It's hard to say. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see all the different stuff. Are you after it? You gonna buy it?
Well, I'm here to listen anyway.
So are we. Well, cool. Thank you for telling us about the car. It's really neat to hear the history and the photos. It's exciting. So we can't wait to see it get back put on the road by whoever buys it. So
Yeah,
thank you for your
indeed.
time. I appreciate it.
Have fun.
Yeah, we will.
When we bought it, it had cycle fenders coming off the backing plates.
Okay. Yep.
They weren't legal in Pennsylvania. So we welded brackets, his dad welded brackets out
Okay.
to the cycle fenders. And then we laid sheet metal. I got pictures up in the van up here.
Yeah, we
that I can
definitely
show
like
you
to see
some of
this.
that stuff. The steering wheel changed since I had it.
Did you?
The
So where
backing
did
plates aren't the same.
you find the car?
We bought it from a fella in Hanover.
Oh, so it was a local hot rod already.
He bought it supposedly from the people that used to own Lincoln Drive-In Theater. Their son had the car.
Really?
And when we bought it, it had I think a 53 Olds.
He said with a LaSalle trans in it.
It had the LaSalle gears and stuff with the
Oh,
closed drive shaft.
Yep. And then he said he had the early 9-inch laying around that you guys put
He
in.
had a 57 Ford sitting up in the field, and he says, "You want the rear out of that?" I said, "Yep." And I got the engine and the transmission through a junkyard. The engine came out of North Carolina. The transmission came from New York State.
Really?
I put a 289 hypo in it. It was a 63 hypo. The first year for the
Yeah.
hypo.
So that had to be a pretty hard to find one of them that early
Well,
on.
that probably was back in either 64 or very early 65.
That it was a nearly new engine.
It
that
was
you got.
almost a new engine. Yeah.
Wow. That's great. And did it have the seats? Were they different too? Do you remember that?
The seats are the same seats that I put in it.
Oh, okay.
The seats were out of an old Renault.
Oh, really?
I bought them out of a junkyard down below Jefferson.
Okay. I was wondering, I was trying to place what they were out of because they were so small.
That's what they were out of. They were out of an older and older.
Okay, that's very cool. Now, what color was the car when you got it? I could see there's purple and gold and different. Do you remember?
I'm not sure anymore when we bought it. We painted it green one time and we had it gold one time.
Okay, I
That would
saw,
explain the gold.
I saw the gold underneath.
Most of the time it was in white primer. Because like I was telling these guys, we drive it all summer. In the wintertime we did shows with it.
Okay, I saw that. He sent me the photos with all the trophies that you had behind it.
Bill Holtz, that used to run York US 30, would have car shows in the wintertime.
Indoor, yeah.
We did like down at the old Baltimore Civic Center with it.
Okay.
I got a picture at home of the show down there.
Wow.
We did like Frederick, Maryland, at the Chevy dealer they had shows. Hanover usually had a local show. I think we went as far north as Allentown and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's up by us. There's the green.
Yeah.
And you could see the green in there, and then I saw there's a little bit of gold
On
the other side poking through. Hey, I can see some there. That's cool. So the roof had the roof plastic insert.
And when I had the upholstery done, I had a snap up cover bit made for it, so it didn't bake your brains out in the summertime.
That's cool. And did somebody change the dash? It didn't have it didn't have the
dash
wood.
has been changed. Because when I had it, I built a thing behind the seats and had the radio and stuff back there.
Oh, really? Huh.
All that's been torn out. All the door panels were all rolled and pleated and stuff.
Really? They matched the
Carpeted.
seats?
Everything was carpeted. Yeah.
Wow.
So it went through hell from the time I sold it until I bought it back.
Oh, so you sold it and bought it back?
I sold it in '68.
Okay.
I bought it back somewhere around '75 or '76.
So he was telling me, your buddy was telling me that you guys sold it, or you sold it with no engine, correct?
No
you pulled the
engine.
hypo out.
Yeah, I did, but I was selling it to in '68. Didn't want the hypo.
Okay. And that sold locally, or did it go?
The hypo?
No, this car.
Yeah, it stayed in Hanover at that time.
Okay.
He put the engine probably that's in it now.
Okay. And then you
And
bought
then
it back.
Supposedly, some girl in the Hershey area supposedly owned it at one time. I bought it back around '75, '76
Okay.
from a fellow that was a salesman at the Chevy dealer in Mechanicsburg. He
Really?
had it.
Things gotten around.
It probably went through maybe 4 or 5 people
Yeah.
between the time I first sold it until I bought it back. And then I sold it to Larry.
Oh, so you sold it to
I
Larry.
sold it to Larry, and I had a title with it at that time.
So did you, how did Larry find out about it? Did he just know you had
I
it?
had it advertised for sale.
Oh, you had it advertised for sale. What year, you know roughly when that was when you sold it to him?
I would say 77,
Okay.
78.
It's had a long time then.
Yeah, and that was when
He's
he
had
was,
it a long time.
and that's when he was buying a lot of these cars.
Yeah.
From the records we've seen, it's
Yep.
like the early to mid 70s and the late 70s. He was
Yeah.
buying cars every.
The 39 sedan that he had, he bought about the same time because that was a Hanover hot rod at the time.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, the Chevy.
Yeah. That's cool.
But that at that time was painted a green, I think.
Okay. So you remember what you sold it to him for?
I think $1,000.
Yeah. Hey, that wasn't too bad though for the time.
Well, I think that's what I sold it for in '68. I think I bought it back for 8 or 9 or something like that and sold it to him for $1,000.
I think it'll do a little better today, more than likely.
Well, that's more than I would give for it personally.
Yeah.
The third time.
Yeah, you don't want it there. Well,
Not in this condition.
I could tell you that I would bid over $1,000 on it, so it'll go for. I think
Not in this
I think you add a zero and it'll go up pretty good. But that's very cool. It's
If somebody locally buys it, I got these pictures along that I'll give them.
yeah. We'd love to see the photos quickly before we're done here, and then we'll put them in contact because that would be great to keep the history of the car moving forward. Do you have photos of when you got it, like before you pulled the engine?
I got it with the olds in it.
Do you have photos of when it had the olds and stuff? That would be neat to see.
I don't think I have any with the 312 in it though.
So did it have a olds then a 312?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it had a Y block in it for a little while.
When the old, I think the first winter we had the car, the block cracked in the olds. We evidently didn't get everything drained and hadn't had it,
And it cracked on you.
and it cracked. So we went up to the same junkyard I got the 289 from and told them I want a 312. And they said, well, we got a 56 Mercury 312 sitting here, so that's what went in.
That's really cool. So you ran it around for a little bit with the 312 before the hypo went.
About a year or so.
Okay, that's cool. So it's had a bunch of engines in it.
Well, I would say the old probably was the first as a hot rod.
Yeah, from the sounds of it, that's.
The car evidently was built in the 50s.
Yep.
'Cause
Okay.
like I said, my brother and I bought it in the early 60s. And the car had been built, you know, the guy we got it from didn't build it, I know. It was already
okay.
built when he got it.
And it was already channeled and welded to the frame
it
and all that
basically
stuff.
was as you see it.
Okay. Very cool. Well, it's good that it's still around. It's going to get saved and hopefully put back on the road. That's really cool. So we appreciate you telling us some of the stories and sharing it with us. It's neat to hear where these cars came from. So.
But like I said, supposedly it was built, or maybe, I don't know if they built it, but owned by whoever had the Lincoln Drive-In Theater, their son.
Wow.
Which, you know, was up here in 30.
Yeah.
Was up here in 30.
So it's never really left the area from what we can see.
Probably the fathers from York to Hershey, Mechanicsburg.
Not far.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Local
crazy.
hot rod, it stayed in the area. That's we love
Just
it.
like your 34 sedan.
Yeah.
I'd put 100 miles a night on it in the summertime.
Just cruising the streets and
never get out of Hanover.
and racing anything they would
No,
No?
I was not a street racer.
Oh, no?
If they wanted to race me, they had to go up quarter races on Wednesday evening when they had the time trial thing.
Oh, that's where you would do it.
Anybody wanted to run me, come up there.
And where was that at?
Mount Holly, between Mount Holly and Boiling Springs. I don't know what it goes by now.
Okay.
It's a different name now.
Yeah.
It's quarter aces back in.
Okay. And you guys would run them
And
there.
at that time, the only thing that was blacktop was about the time you were going into second gear, you were in the dirt.
So just the starting line.
Just the starting
and
line.
then you're
was
dirt.
paved. And then it was only like 3/16 with a pretty good curb in the dirt and woods on both sides.
So stopping was the
Quite
problem.
a few
Oh my gosh.
not make the curve.
Yeah.
65, I'd have been 20 years old.
Okay. All right. Was that your first hot rod, or did you have
First
other?
hot rod.
Yeah. You picked a good one.
My first everyday vehicle was a 57 Ranchero.
That's awesome.
That's another good vehicle.
Yeah, very
Everyday
good.
vehicle.
Yeah,
I've had 3 Rancheros. I had a 57, a 67, and a 71.
57's I like those.
I like
ones.
the 67. I
Really?
like that Fairlane body.
Yeah.
I just sold that one, what, 3 years ago?
Okay. That's cool. So did you guys run? So you ran into each other at the last sale, looking at the car?
But he was in my brother's class at school.
Oh, okay.
So
And that's how you guys hooked up.
that class, yeah, well, we didn't live far apart either.
Okay.
And his class started a local hot rod club in Hanover.
What was the club's name again?
Flywheels.
Flywheels. Okay. Yeah, you were telling
That's
me.
why when you asked me about that plaque, I didn't know if it would have had a plaque, it would have been flywheel.
Okay. Yeah, because we
I
found
have the plaque.
Oh, do you still have the plaque?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
I still got flywheels.
Do you? Wow.
And we gave
I
one
got
to
a-
the museum. The
Oh,
museum's got one.
the MMR has one.
I
Oh,
got
cool.
a shirt that's has the flywheel on the back and then says Flywheels Drag Team.
Oh my God, that's so awesome. I love that stuff.
Yeah, I don't have
Sold
any of
all
that
my
crap.
jackets.
Really?
I gave my jacket to the MMR.
That's cool that it's still around. That's, a lot of guys I talk to in my area, they were in the club. So
All my York US 30 jackets are gone.
really?
Yeah, it's amazing.
A lot of guys are like, oh, I outgrew them, and the wife just threw them away because I couldn't fit in them anymore.
I
So-
have 2 trophies right now from York.
Oh, I still got a whole shelf
Yeah,
full of
no,
trophies.
we
from
got
all
rid of
over
all of
St.
them.
you got rid of all the ones from this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't said, what do you want with them? I think we put them all in one big box at a yard sale and got a buck.
That's how it goes. I mean,
I have some that the club won.
really.
From
And
the shows.
my brother from the car shows where this car was in.
Oh, really?
And some of them are this high. I
Wow.
have some of them yet.
Yeah, you sent me that one photo with all of them stacked behind it.
That was his. That was
Really?
all his stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Most of the shows we did was with Joe Peterman and the Shoehart for a while. Gene
Yeah.
Shoehart showed his Chevy. What was that, a 53 or 4?
And what year were you showing this indoors here, like in York?
Well, the last show I think I did with it was the Baltimore show in 67.
Okay.
I got pictures in the Civic Center in Baltimore in
Okay.
67.
There's indoor photos of Larry
That's
or
you,
That's what I was
Barry.
gonna say,
first went
yeah.
to Daytona, and I couldn't get off to go for the whole time to go to Daytona. So Gary Martin and I took the coupe down to Baltimore. To
We
show.
did Washington, Baltimore, Frederick.
Frederick.
Yeah.
Civic
think
Centers. That was
Allentown.
coming through the winter.
Hanover always had a show back then.
The 34 Ford that I bought from the estate, I have pictures from the guy that built it in the late 60s, mid 60s, and it was at indoor. It was probably at a show at the same time. It was a red 34 sedan with early small block in it and tuck and roll. And I got photos probably of at the same show, you know, that it was
some
part
of
of
the same shows if it was from that area, but I don't remember the car.
All right, so I got a phone call about an interested party about this car, what, a week ago or something?
Yeah.
He's very interested in the car, and we kind of talked it over, and I didn't really tell a lot of people, but we actually found some of the previous owners for the car, and I already had some old photos of the car, so I shared that with you, obviously, and you won the car. So viewer won, which is awesome, and you got all the original photos, which is, or a lot of them, which is awesome. And so what's the plans for the car, you think?
You know, plans are to get it home. Like you told me on the video, the frame is shot.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So I guess the initial plans will be, if anyone's got a 3334 in the Northeast, somewhere in Pennsylvania, frame, you know, hit up Matt. Other than that, gonna get it home, take it apart slowly. I have another project, like many car guys.
Yeah.
Too much stuff stacking up. So I still want to focus on the other one because I got a lot of parts for that one. But yeah, I'll start doing what everybody else does. Start slowly collecting parts. You know, I was nice enough to meet Bob and Linda, previous owner, owned it twice.
That's so
which
awesome.
is crazy. Told me all about the history. You know, he's got I think he said a 260 in it right now. Kind of really.
Yeah.
He said he had a 289 and the guy didn't
pulled
want
it when he sold it,
He didn't want it, so he thinks it's a 260. I like the olds version. When he bought it, it had the olds in it. I want to go back towards that. Like I don't. Yeah, the 9-inch in rear end, I'll keep a 9-inch.
Yeah,
that's fine. And actually, the way he's describing it might be that pretty rare early Ford 9-inch car one.
Yeah.
So keep that. I'd like to go back to the olds, and you know, some pictures you showed me, gold.
Yes.
Kind of digging the gold.
Amazing. When I saw that photo, I was lost my mind. I'm like, I probably would have wanted this more if I seen it.
Yeah.
Kind of digging the gold.
Yeah, heck
And then
yeah.
some of the photos, like you was describing, like he had the fixed cycle fenders.
Yeah.
Kind of like the closer ones a little bit
Yes,
better.
yeah.
Kind of like the closer ones, the motorcycle style. So move back in that direction.
Are you going to keep the plexiglass top?
Yes. I don't know if it's going to clean up. It might go to a different color. Because I don't know if green and gold might work. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to keep that.
So if anybody knows any history about this car, we have a video, obviously we're putting out about the car with some of the previous owners, but if anybody knows any history on this car in this area, we're going to drop these photos in. Get in contact with us and we can pass the info along, because obviously we'd love to know the history, because it was a hot rod from like the early 50s from what the previous owners were telling us. So I would love to know more about this car. So congratulations.
Thank you. Sorry, honey.
Sorry, honey. Yeah, awesome. So keep us up to date on
I will.
Get on. It's gonna be awesome. So thank you guys. Get you later.